Hello, my name is Steve. I am the Affordable Life Coach, and today we're going to talk about purpose. I made a video in the past that there is no purpose and there is no manufactured purpose. There is no purpose that one person can say, hey, this is what the meaning of life is. We have to discover that for ourselves on our own through a lot of trial and tribulations and experimenting on what we connect with, what makes us feel alive, what gives us a sense of joy, meaning, fulfillment, purpose in life. And ideally, we want something that is not outcome dependent. Outcome dependent can be a good motivator, but if the outcome didn't manifest, we wouldn't regret the journey. We wouldn't regret the steps that we took in order to pursue the outcome. And I think that's one thing that we are very conditioned to be so focused on the outcome, whether that outcome is financial remuneration, fame, success, getting the girls, getting the boys, making a name for ourselves, improving our social status. There's always an agenda that most of us have when we pursue something. And again, it's about balance. That can be a part of it, but if we're not balanced, it really erodes our drive and vigor and motivation. And some people that I coach, and it's something we all struggle with, it's just a matter of degrees, is lacking drive, lacking vigor, lacking motivation, lacking discipline, and a sense of purpose in life. And when you are aimless with your purpose, you don't have a purpose, the world, family, friends, society, the government, the companies you work for, the big monopoly and monopolistic corporations, social media, when you don't have a purpose, they will force feed you one, or they will get you addicted to one, or they will coerce you into one. And that's why it's so important to not let ourselves be susceptible to that type of pressure and conformity and wanting to fit in and becoming another white sheep, because we have figured out our own purpose for ourselves. And that purpose can take many forms. It doesn't need to be to grab headlines. It doesn't need to make people say, wow, what an amazing person you are, amazing person that is. And that's what we tend to idolize. We tend to idolize and look at the people at the top of the pyramid, the people who have the greatest success, the greatest amount of followers, the greatest amount of money, the greatest amount of accomplishments. And that's what people are compare themselves to, and that's what pulls them. There's something very fulfilling about having a simple purpose that is not overly complicated, doesn't take years or decades to accomplish, and is simple and accessible and gets you in the state of flow. It doesn't take a lot, and it's amazing how many options there are out there that can give us purpose, and it's like right in front of our nose, and we miss it because it doesn't compare to what the world or society or our culture or our family or our friends or social media tells us we should chase after. So some of the purposes that we can have is when you get up in the morning, you have something to look forward to. And one of the things I find in coaching people that are struggling with feeling down, struggling with anxiety, struggling with a sense of meaningless or hopelessness in their lives is they don't have anything to look forward to. And that happens to a lot of us, and it can productivity creep can slowly suffocate our lives, where when we do something that is not necessarily going to give us a beneficial outcome like more money or success or more likes, we feel, or just checking off our to-do list, we feel discouraged, and we're not as highly motivated to do it. And those things that might not give us the societal rewards that we feel we should have are absolutely essential to pursue, because they give our lives balance. And when we are balanced and we're productive, we have something to recharge our battery, we have something to fulfill us, it makes for a happy human being. And we have such abundance. And this is like the best time, even with all the craziness that's going on, this is like the best time to be alive in the history of the world. And we still focus on all the things we lack. We compare ourselves to others. We feel that we're not good enough, we're not productive enough, we're not doing enough, we're not successful enough, we're not rich enough. And anxiety plagues us. And a big contributor to that is when we wake up in the morning, we just feel like robots, with all checking off our to-do lists, or going to work and going through the rigmarole of a day and grinding out a living and taking care of the kids and making sure friends and family are happy and answering our emails and text messages and responding on social media. It's a never-ending to-do list. And one of the things when I'm coaching clients is asking them the question, how much time do you spend a day just in complete silence or stillness, where you're not consuming something, you're not staring at a screen, you're not needing to be productive? And most people, it's zero. Some people, they have a meditation practice, and that's it's time to spend in silence. But I'm talking about even just not even meditating, because I got to meditate. I got to observe my thoughts, or I got to get rid of my thoughts, as a lot of people falsely think meditation is about. And it's exhausting, and it's enervating, and it makes us feel like life is a grind. Life is not meaningful. And when you think about how our ancestors lived, their lives were a lot harder. Their lives were a lot less comfortable. But I imagine that they didn't deal with half the stuff that we deal with in modern westernized society. And there's something about a disconnection from creating things with our hands, spending time in nature, spending time socializing with the tribe, hunting and gathering, that really was like the release valve for a lot of the anxiety, stress, frustration, depression, sadness, anger that we feel today in modern society. Just even going outside, you're surrounded by noise, cars, traffic, people, concrete. Even if you go out somewhere that's a little bit more secluded, there's airplanes, and you could hear the highway noise off to the distance. Or sometimes I've tried in the past get out in nature, and I hear leaf blowers and chainsaws and all kinds of stuff. And then we wonder why we're dissatisfied with our lives. We're disconnected from other people. We don't have a tribe, and we are enclosed in four walls. And it's a recipe for suffering. It's a recipe for discontentment and anxiety and depression and those things. And if you could find your purpose that adds those elements to it, so it adds maybe social connection, but also it could be time for solitude. So it has that flexibility. It adds doing something that you're unplugged. You're not staring at a screen. You're not needing to be productive. You're doing something maybe physical with your hands. You're creating something. You're spending time in nature. You're rejuvenating, recharging, and it's something that you look forward to. It's there's a book called Running is My Therapy, and I love how the author describes all the psychological and physical benefits that running has given him. And we are missing that in modern society. It's just way too easy and convenient just to flip on a screen, turn on your phone, go on your computer, and then we can't understand why we're stressed, anxious, or depressed. So some options, and I'd love to hear what your suggestions are in the comments, and hopefully other people will be inspired by some of the things that you might be currently doing, or some things that you want to do, or some things that you have done. When I was even looking back in our childhood, when I was a kid, I used to ride my dirt bike. And I used to ride my dirt bike for hours and hours and hours, and it was absolutely amazing. And there's a time where I just lost that, and now I've replaced it with walking. But it's something that we need: spiritual, psychological, emotional grounding, and something that gives us meaning and is like hitting the reset button, and again, that we look forward to. And there's a lot of options. I watched a really great documentary yesterday called The Alpinist on Netflix, and it was about a 23-year-old kid who just got obsessed and really into rock climbing. And he would talk about how when he would go on extended rock climbs, he would come back and there would be like an afterglow. He would just be a lot more present with people. He'd be a lot more content. It was like a spiritual bathing that the mountains gave him. And we just are absolutely missing that. Absolutely. So it doesn't have to be that extreme, but one of the things that is weakening is our ability to focus. It's just eroding, and it's something that we can develop not through taking a pill, but just exercising that muscle, giving us things that will allow us to focus. So it could be painting, drawing, sculpting, building, carving, even just doing something like a jigsaw puzzle. Or for the movie I was talking about, him was figuring out how to get to the top of this mountain, which is like playing chess. And yeah, that just makes life enjoyable. And that's what the purpose is to make life more enjoyable, not to get consumed with all the political chaos in the world, or the political or the emotional chaos in our circle. It's finding something that you can escape, finding something that frees you. Again, that it doesn't involve screens. I just can't emphasize that enough. And some of my clients, they like doing painting and art. One of my clients, he likes doing the paint or oil by numbers painting. One of my other clients loves to do woodworking, and that gives her just such a sense of accomplishment and focus. It's great exercise, and it's in itself, it's like a meditation. Other people go hiking, fly fishing, mountain bike riding, walking, even geocaching, different hobbies like that. I used to fly a two-handled kite, and that would really make me just be very, very present. And if life is all work, all productivity, not enough play, not enough recharge and rejuvenation, we're going to struggle with the things that we do want to accomplish. There's something to be said about carving out time to be productive. I think our hustle culture has gotten overly obsessed with it, because the most important thing, again, is just, do you enjoy your life? And if you don't enjoy your life, what's the point of all the productivity, of all the apps, of reading all the books and all the different systems that we utilize in order to try to make ourselves productive and disciplined and successful, if you don't enjoy your life? And some of my greatest joys in life are absolutely the simplest. And when I had more of a vagabond lifestyle, and I would do like rough type of traveling, like the bicycling halfway across the United States, or just going hiking, or going camping, or going to youth hostels and visiting different places. And it doesn't have to be you don't even have to travel to another state, or another city, or another country. Like, just explore your own area and find things to do that you just enjoy. And in doing that, you're also pulled out of your daily rut, the daily grind, your routine, and you're able to look at your life from a different perspective. And you're able to reflect and see where you're getting off track, and see where you're stagnating, and see where you're just not being fulfilled. And we chase a lot of things blindly. I mean, we just don't examine. Our society and culture has such a strong unconscious influence on us that I have clients that I coach, and they feel like a failure if they were to spend more of their time doing these things that I'm talking about, that they would fall behind, or that they're wasting their time. Even clients, and sometimes I even struggle with this. It's just like reading books. Like, it's nothing tangible that you get after reading a book. Like, you could say, I earned this amount of money, or I had this accomplishment. It's like focusing on inner rewards. It's the journey that the author takes you on. It's the growth and self-development that you're able to explore and apply to your life. It's the understanding people who have different viewpoints than you. That's why I just love reading books instead of getting all our information from social media or the internet. It's just a lot deeper. But when we break that conditioning that my time has to produce some tangible outcome that people will look at favorably, we become a prisoner, and we become a prisoner to the treadmill that we just can't seem to get off of. And there's just a whole nother world when you simplify your life, because a lot of people might say, well, I don't have the time to do these things. I don't have the energy. And that's where minimalism comes in. And just as Warren Buffett says, successful people say no to just about everything. And he probably was talking financially. I'm talking more organically, more internally, more spiritually. It's just saying no to stuff. And just, I'm not going to do that. I have a limited amount of energy to spend, a limited amount of time. And I want to devote it to things that are internally fulfilling and rewarding and exciting and enjoyable and rejuvenating. It's such a different mindset than the way we're conditioned, and it frees you. And I think that's what we are missing in our culture and society, is this is not something that is really highly prized. If you tell someone, I spent 2 hours today sitting on a park bench staring at the trees and the birds, you're not going to get a high five. They're going to think you're a little nutty. And that's sad. But there are people out there who are kindred spirits that would be able to get it. They're the minority, but they are out there, and you'd be able to connect with. And that's the type of people we want to envelop within our inner circle is those types of people who are going to be supporters of us nourishing our souls, nourishing our beings, and just being very gentle and loving and caring with ourselves, because we're connected to something much higher than the rat race, much higher than all the drama and the chaos in society. And it just gives you just a deep sense of inner peace and contentment that can't be found in a pill. I'm not saying not to or do or not, but let's explore being in alignment with how our ancestors lived, how, tribal and hunter-gatherer lives, because that's really the way we were designed. What we live in today is so foreign to how we evolved, and to spiritual, mental, psychological health. And it's just so fulfilling. Once you start getting a taste of it, you much more easily let go of all the material things, or not all of them, but you can significantly reduce attachment to the material things, because if you want to call them the spiritual things, these simpler things, the simple pleasures, the simple enjoyments of life are eternal. Like they shape who we become, and nobody or nothing can take that away from us. Thanks for tuning in. Love to hear your comments. If you want to support the channel, there's a link in the description. And just please comment. And that really helps to kind of create a conversation around some of these topics. And sharing the video is always appreciated. And if you want very affordable or ridiculously affordable life coaching, my email's in the description. Thanks for tuning in. Until next time. Bye-bye.